Hello and welcome. We're on board INS Vikramaditya with the CNS. Thank you so much for taking time out to speak to the viewers of CNN News 18. Let me begin by asking you, we've just seen an outreach program that the Indian Navy has with youngsters, with students. How did that idea come about?
We have been working on how to contribute to nation building as per the Government of India initiatives. So one of the things that come to mind was something to harness the young minds. So what better way to do it than through a quiz? So we've been having this quiz program for about last 6 years or so, and but it was on a much smaller scale. So now in the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, we thought we will contribute by harnessing schools across the length and breadth of the country. Our target was 7,500 schools. We could manage 6,432 schools to participate, and it just brings out the the enthusiasm and the energy of the youth to participate in this. And our idea was to bring in maritime consciousness, awaken the maritime Indian inside every youth, so that we are aware of the ocean, the long heritage that we have, how much we have we have to get from the oceans. So there is a sort of sea blindness in most countries. So we wanted to overcome it, and this is one of the small measures by which we want to take it forward.
And have you also managed to inculcate that seed of joining the Navy in at least some of these 6,000 plus?
Yeah, indeed. When I asked them, they were quite impressed. In the sense, most of what happens in the case of the Navy is that once a ship leaves harbour, nobody sees what the Navy does. So we are able to give this idea of what is life at sea, what the Navy does, how it affects your daily activities like trade. When you get petrol and diesel and cooking gas in your house, you don't realize where it comes from and how much of effort is going in to ensure that the seas are safe, so that whatever you import or export, all that is going on without any problem.
Yeah, when we see the calm sea here, we don't realize how much maritime security means to us, what it means to us, like you explained. But talking about outreach, this is also a rare year when you've reached out to all continents. Talk to us about how that happened and what was achieved. What was the significance of sending our warships to across all continents almost?
This is sort of a idea of showing the reach and sustainability of the naval forces. The naval forces have got endurance. They have long sea legs. They can go out into the ocean and remain at sea. So by sending these ships out to the 6 continents except Antarctica and 7 ports, it shows the presence of our units, the ability to go and show the flag and sort of engage with our partner countries, both in the region as well as in the areas of interest for us. So and particularly so in this 75 years of independence in Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, there was nothing better than this to show how far we can reach and engage with our partners. So it has been a great thing, and out of these ships, except for one ship out of the 7, they were all indigenous ships.
Oh, so, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. I mean, to put forward our Make in India foot forward. But talking about India, so the Indian Ocean region has always been an area of interest for us. And in the last few months, a lot of activities here, a lot of concerns here. Yeah. But the significance of IOR and how the Indian Navy is really manning the IOR to keep our interests safe, not just in terms of keeping our territory safe, but like you said, the patrol, the cooking gas, everything that comes, Navy has a role to play.
Yeah, see, the Indian Ocean historically has always been a very important place. In fact, in the Indo-Ocean region, the first ever transit through the ocean has happened in the Indian Ocean more than 3,000 years ago. All the other oceans got traveled much later. So historically, there has been trade, connectivity, interaction, all that happening in the Indian Ocean from a long time. And India has been a key player in this. If you look back at our scriptures, and if you look back at the Maurya time, the Chola time, etc., there has been a lot of trade and connectivity and linkages, spread of ideas, spread of religious beliefs. All these things have happened over time. It's just that when we switched over, at some point of time, from sail ships to steel ships. We lost out on the Industrial Revolution, and till then, till about the mid of the 18th century, a ship used to be the most complex machine ever made by a human being. So post-industrialization, we lost out because of our legacy of colonization, etc. And that is how we gradually shifted into a sort of a sea blindness, where the focus was on land issues rather than on the sea. But we must remember that it is from the sea that we got conquered by the British.
Yes.
And once they came, they remained for a long time. Today, we have to depend more and more for resources on from the sea. As the resources diminish on land, we have to go to the sea. So therefore, there is an importance of going towards the sea. And in the Indian Ocean, the major part of the trade happens in the Indian Ocean, whether it is oil, whether it is exports, all that transshipment of food grains, containers, all that is happening in the Indian Ocean region. So therefore, it is very important, and you see, at any point of time, there are about 60 plus warships of various countries who don't belong to the region also present in this. So it is because of the interest, because of the shipping lanes, because of the choke points. So there is a keen interest in ensuring that the Indian Ocean region remains secure, and it's a global common, in the sense so long as trade is there, peaceful shipping is there, then the economy prospers. And as per India's policy, the policy of the government of India is about Sagar, that is security and growth for all in the region.
Yes.
So we don't believe in individual growth. We believe in everybody rising together. So there is a saying that a rising tide lifts everybody, so lifts all boats. So that is what is in the philosophy of the government, and Indian Navy is particularly pursuing Sagar in letter and spirit, and we have had very close cooperation with all the friendly countries in our region, the smaller countries as well as the bigger.
That makes us different. No, we're not just we are standing next on the deck of INS Vikramaditya. We have the might. We can shock and awe, but that's not the only way we work. We also try to win the hearts and minds.
Absolutely. So, we have to engage with our partners, the regional partners. So how do we do it? We do by engaging with them in terms of maritime cooperation, for security cooperation, by exercises, by bilateral interaction, multilateral interaction, training help, then assistance in building their capacity, as well as to maintain and support their assets and so on. So we overall help the countries in the neighborhood, and they also, and we treat them with with the due respect that they
deserve?
they deserve, and all of them, because we look at everybody as equals. So long as everybody has got a seat at the table, and we follow the 5 S's, we would say, in which Samman is the most important thing. So treating everybody with respect and ensuring that we have a dialogue with them, we cooperate with them, have peace, and then everybody has samriddhi or prosperity.
So in our immediate neighborhood, sir, we also share a common culture. So perhaps sanskar and reaching out to them, maybe it's a little easier, but that's IOR. We also have stakes in Indo-Pacific now.
Yeah.
We have far-reaching understanding and cooperation with the other countries. Help our viewers understand about the significance of Indo-Pacific. How are we utilizing that leverage to our advantage?
See, Indo-Pacific is a concept, it's an idea, and I think it is the most important idea of our time. And why is it so much significant for us? Because we are, just by geography, we are in a very central location. And now the Indian Ocean as well as the Pacific Ocean, when you look at it as one big entity, almost 70% of the entire ocean area gets covered in this part. And 62% of the population resides here. Almost 63% of the GDP is in this area. Most of the 9 out of 10 major busiest ports are in this Indo-Pacific. Then among the top 5 economies, 4 are in this region. So and we have a lot of interest in this region, because even towards the Pacific, we have engagements with countries like South Korea, Japan, Australia. So there is, the ASEAN countries, and we believe in the centrality of the ASEAN as well in keeping the Indo-Pacific safe and secure. So it's a very important aspect, and as our Prime Minister said, the oceans are a shared common heritage, and we need to ensure that it is available for all of us. So when we talk of the Indo-Pacific, we believe in free, open, inclusive, and rules-based order.
Right.
We don't support anyone trying to say that the existing international rules, regulations, they need to be thrown away, and you bring in new regulations, etc. Because these are historically developed conventions and rules. So we need to follow them. We have to be a rules-based society, and therefore we have to use this for the benefit of everybody. It cannot be, it cannot be a exclusive thing for any one nation or a select few nations.
But sir, like you said, I mean, we believe in rule-based society, but the elephant in the room, or rather the dragon in the room, I mean, there is a conflict there. There are countries which are not following the rule book. So isn't that a difficult thing to do while we follow what is right, what is morally upright, what is there legally correct? Some of our adversaries don't.
Yeah, so that is why the importance of dialogue, or samvad that we say. So the constant effort is on to talk, negotiate, and peaceful resolution of disputes. As our Prime Minister said, this is not the era of a war.
Yeah.
So therefore, we need to engage. We need to keep talking and find viable solutions. And there are various examples of finding agreeable solutions to both countries. So a typical example is between India and Bangladesh. There was a dispute going on about our maritime boundary delimitation. So both of us, we agreed to go for arbitration. The award went to Bangladesh, but we accepted it. So once you decide that you have to go for arbitration, then you have to accept whatever is the verdict.
So the world after a long time is facing a war. Globally, there are a lot of lessons. What are the lessons for us, the way the current global situation as far as conflict goes?
See, we are in a very highly interconnected world. So whatever is happening in one corner of the world really affects the others also. So a typical example is the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, between Ukraine and Russia. See, food grains have got affected, the energy flow has got affected. You can't say that it will not affect anybody else. So same issue will happen if some conflict or something happens in Indo-Pacific. So we need to be cognizant of that, and the answer is to have mechanisms by which you can talk, you can have diplomatic as well as dialogue going on to try and resolve issues. It's very easy to start a conflict, but what is evident from what you see in between Russia and Ukraine is that historical lesson that war termination is very difficult, because there are egos involved on both sides and so on. So I again reiterate what our Prime Minister said, that this is not the era for war. So nobody benefits actually at the end of it.
But sir, this war has also given us some lessons about how unconventional use of weaponry, drones for example, are emerging as a new threat, it seems. I mean, are we prepared for this kind of a unconventional threat from our neighborhood or wherever our naval assets are?
See, when you look at war over a period of time, you'll always find new technologies coming out. New technologies, and when the technology emerges, it'll be a disruptive technology. Then till the time the opponent also masters that technology and so on. So starting, if you look back at from the time of the bow and arrow, the first bow and arrow whoever was invented, that was a disruptive technology for them. Same thing goes for firearms and artillery and so on. So yes, you're right that new technologies emerged. What has also happened is the technologies are much cheaper. They're not as expensive, and it is affordable, and they got multi-uses, in the sense they can be used for either civilians, they can be used by non-state actors and so on. So there are, and it's a cat and mouse game. So therefore you will have counter technologies being developed, and how to overcome it, and how can you deliver the effect that you want at much cheaper cost, much faster, with more lethality and so on. So we are also working on it, and many examples are there of our effort. We have got a Naval Innovation and Indigenization Organization. We had a seminar which was inaugurated by Honorable Prime Minister on the 18th of July. We got lots of ideas. We are, we have given orders for about 166, new technologies that have come in. And so it is a constant process. We believe in Atmanirbharta. One of the major lessons that we learned from this conflict that is going on is that we should have reliable supply chains. And reliability will happen only if you are developing it in India, in your own country.
Thank you so much for taking time out and speaking to the viewers of CNN News 18. So on board Vikramaditya from the CNS himself as to how is maritime security being ensured, what is being done to keep us safe. Lessons for all of us.